Linda Pierce called it leadership training when she tied my 9-year-old nephew, Owen, to a wooden post, doused him with fuel, and set him ablaze. I ripped the HOA badge from her jacket, heated it white-hot, and seared it into her trembling hand, then burned her paper empire to ash very bylaw, every file, every shred of her fake authority. This isn't about apologies. It's about her screams echoing the ones she caused. Want to see how false power crumbles? Watch what happens when a child's cry meets a man done with silence. She stood before the Pine Ridge HOA hall in her fur-lined parka, lips curled in a smug grin under the icy January sun. Effective immediately, Linda declared, all children aged 6 to 12 must attend the Pine Ridge Winter Resilience Camp. 3 nights in the mountains to forge strength. Translation: obey, or face crippling fines. I raised my hand. Linda, my nephew Owen's 9. He has asthma, nearly died in a cold snap 2 years ago. He can't handle a blizzard. Her gaze was venomous. Then teach him to stop being fragile, Ryan Hayes, or let nature do it. The room stayed silent. No one dared challenge her. By dusk, Owen's name was on the camp list, marked in red. The next morning, a black HOA van arrived. 2 men in camo jackets told Owen to pack light, be tough. His eyes, wide and trembling, locked on mine as he clutched his stuffed lion. Uncle Ryan, will I be okay? I knelt, gripping his shoulders. You'll be home soon. Stick with the group. If anything feels wrong, run. I kissed his forehead as they took him. That night, I tried to drown the unease with coffee, TV, whiskey, but a heaviness sat in my chest. Then the email hit. Pine Ridge Winter Camp, Night 3 update. Owen Hayes selected for Fire Challenge Level 5. A community milestone. My whiskey glass tipped, staining the desk like blood. Fire Challenge. My heart stopped. I grabbed my boots, field axe, and military rope. Linda thought this was her game. She was about to learn what happens when you burn a child. The camp was no place for kids. Owen arrived with 20 others, bundled in ill-fitting snow gear, scared and silent. The real chill wasn't the mountain, it was the rules, the shouted drills, the instructor's prison guard barked orders. Linda oversaw it all, a queen watching her gladiators. Kids slept in flimsy tents on frozen ground, no heaters, just wet logs and broken lighters for fire-building skills. Owen's asthma flared day 1. He begged for his inhaler. They confiscated it for realism. Want to survive? Linda told him, crouching by his wheezing form. Earn your air. She dusted her gloves and walked off, leaving a child to choke. By night 3, Owen was mute, curled near a shed. Instructor Greg, an ex-mercenary with a permanent scowl, muttered to Linda by the fire pit, assistant Clara trailing with a clipboard. The kid's weak, Greg said. Cried during the snow drill. Linda sipped from a thermos. Then it's time. Challenge 5. Clara hesitated. The parents don't matter, Linda snapped. We'll show the board result, fearless kids, reforged minds. She pointed to a dark clearing. Take him to the stump. They bound Owen to a post in the ice, his small frame shaking, gloves torn, head tilted to the stars, praying for rescue. Linda approached with a fuel canister and match. This is symbolic, she said, loud for the drone overhead. A test of courage. Overcome the fire, or die weak, as your uncle lets you stay. She poured fuel over his boots, up the post, the chemical stench cutting the air. Clara filmed. Greg lit the match. Let the challenge begin, Linda whispered, smiling. From the trees, I watched, rage like a blade. They thought this was about a frail boy. They didn't know the storm they'd unleashed. Snow tore at my coat, biting my skin, howling to drown my thoughts, but I kept moving. Owen was up there with her. Each step sank deep, breath searing my lungs. Linda wasn't just a name, she was a plague, strangling our community with her frost-bitten control. Now she had Owen. I spotted tire tracks, then small, uneven footprints, Owen's, swaying left, slipping. He's freezing, I muttered, pushing faster. A flicker caught my eye, orange, not moonlight, with smoke and a drone's hum. I dropped to my stomach at the ridge. Below, Owen was tied to a post, flames licking his jacket, twisting in agony, mouth open in a silent scream. His eyes found mine, still trusting. I flashed to 2 years ago and blue on my floor, me pounding his back, vowing never again. Rage cut the cold. I gripped my axe, dropped my flashlight, and charged through the trees, snow, and fury. I hit the fire shoulder first, heat clawing my coat. My axe swung, slicing the scorched rope. Owen collapsed into my arms, wheezing, sleeve melted to his skin, cheek blistered. "I've got you," I growled, holding him tight. "Breathe, buddy." Behind us, flames roared. "What are you doing?" Linda shrieked, storming forward, her white parka pristine. This was a supervised exercise. "You're violating HOA protocol." I stood, Owen cradled, axe in hand. "You lit a child on fire." "It's a symbolic challenge," she spat. He needed to learn strength, learn fear. I stepped forward, she stepped back. "You're insane." "No, I'm awake," I snarled. "You'll learn what losing control feels like." Clara and Greg had vanished. Linda's eyes darted, panic cracking her facade. "You're trespassing." "I'll call the police." "Do it," I said. "Let them see your leadership." She grabbed her radio. My axe landed an inch from her boots, cracking the ice. She shrieked, stumbling. I wrapped Owen in my coat and walked into the storm, glancing back. "You burned my nephew, Linda. Your turn's coming." I tucked Owen into a boulder hollow, wrapping him in my coat, sparking a flare. "Stay here," I whispered. "You're safe." His eyes held mine, nodding faintly. I trekked back to the clearing. The fire was embers, air reeking of scorched cloth. Linda fumbled with her radio, gloves soaked, alone. I kicked it away. "No more calls." She spun, voice trembling. "You're insane." "Just starting," I said. "Where's Owen?" "Save something you don't understand." "He needed this," she cried. "You were building a cult, not a community." She slipped on blood-stained ice, falling hard, lip splitting. I stormed into the lodge tent, finding file boxes, laptops, bylaws Linda's empire. I doused them with fuel, smashed the drone console, and lit a match. For every silenced parent, every scared kid, for Owen. The tent blazed. Linda screamed, lunging at the flames. I flung her back into the snow. "Write this in your newsletter." She sat up, shaking, eyes reflecting the inferno. "You've destroyed evidence." "No, your legacy," I said. "You tied a child to a post and burned him." "He was weak," she spat. "Whiny, fragile." I was correcting him. "Correcting?" I warred. "You tried to kill a 9-year-old for not fitting your mold." Her chin lifted. "I was forging a stronger community." "You forged a prison," I said, ripping the metal HOA badge from her parka. I pressed it into glowing embers until it burned white-hot. Her eyes widened. "Wait. Mercy," I growled. "Where was Owens?" I pinned her wrist in the snow with my knee, her screams piercing as I pressed the badge into her hand. It hissed, smoke rising. "That's for Owen," I snarled. "So you'll never forget." She collapsed, sobbing, the HOA logo blistered into her skin. "That's your new badge, Linda. Wear it." I entered the admin tin steel cabinets, laptops, a whiteboard, Pine Ridge Child Strategy, obedience over emotion. Pain equals respect. I smashed it with a chair, doused files with fuel, and lit them. "Let's see you enforce silence now." The tent roared into flames. Linda, trembling, rasped, "What have you done?" "Ended your cruelty," I said. "No more rosters, no more drones. It's over." She clutched her burned hand, silent. I left her in the snow, flames behind me, Owen waiting. I found him, gray-blue, feverish, burns raw. I carried him to my truck, wrapping him in heated blankets, blasting the heater, talking about his lion, baseball, anything to keep him awake. At the hospital, they rushed him to the burn unit level 2 and 3 injuries, possible nerve damage, grafts needed. But he was alive. So covered me, gloves burned, knuckles bleeding. At dawn, I saw him, bandaged, eyes opening. "You came," he whispered. "Always," I said. I couldn't scream loud enough, he murmured. "You survived," I told him. "That's stronger than anything." She said I was weak. "She's a coward," I snapped. "She burned kids to feel powerful." "Is she gone?" "Her world's ash, and her hands marked forever." He nodded, asking, "Can we go back one day?" "Why?" "To stand where I didn't die." My throat tightened. "You'll stand taller than the fire." Linda was found half frozen, mumbling about protocols. Her bad-shaped scar branded her hand. At trial, drone footage and parent testimonies exposed her crimes: endangerment, assault, psychological torture. She got 28 years in a rehab center with burn survivors and trauma victims who knew her sins. In court, she saw Owen, bandaged but unyielding. She looked away. The HOA dissolved, its camp razed. Owen heals, drawing dragons that breathe defensive fire. Above his bed, a sketch, a man carrying a boy through flames, titled Survival Isn't Silence. I didn't kill Lindiscar's speak louder than death. Her cruelty hid behind authority, but Owen's hope outlasted her fire. Silence protects abusers, courage stops them. Have you faced power abused? Share below, your story might spark change.